of this truth, moving this truth forward. But at the end of the day, we're all servants of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. And this is where it comes into play, because everything begins in the mind. The scriptures say, with the heart man believeth, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. You see? And the brothers that are weak in the faith, have to be built up. You have to pray, fast, whatever it takes, for us to get to that level to where we feel stronger in the faith. And the brothers that are not, the brothers that are already strong are exhorting, and guiding those brothers till they get to where they need to be. Did not the Apostle Paul said, how I am pained until Yahweh Shai be formed in you? Because once Yahweh Shai is formed in us, then the Lord takes over. You see? It says, he that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day to the Lord he doth not he regard it. Because you have, uh, um, you know, different high holy days, and some men will keep it and some men won't. And I don't mean like in a wicked way, because there's certain high holy days like the Passover, a Day of Atonement that are a must, But some brothers might get into the high holy days more than others. Like they'll keep Hanukkah, they'll keep Purim, they'll keep all the different high holy days, and another brother may not. He might just keep the Passover and the Day of Atonement. You see, he that eateth to the Lord, for he giveth the Most High thanks, and he that eateth not to the Lord he eateth not and giveth the Most High thanks. So regardless, so if you the type of brother that gets into keeping all the high holy days, but then you have another brother that may not get into that, you can't say, oh, this dude is wicked. No, because as long as he's keeping the Passover and the Day of Atonement, he's doing good. And this is why the Apostle Paul said, let no man judge you in respect of the high holy days or of the new moon, the Sabbath, so on and so forth. For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. Because at the end of the day, whatever we do all unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. And remember, the Apostle Paul said that those that die in the Lord are going to be the first ones that are going to be resurrected and brought up into the chariots. For to this end Yahweh Shai both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and living, because he conquered it. So whether a brother is in the spirit world or a brother is here on earth, at the end Yahweh Shai is going to raise them up to Yahweh. But why dost thou judge thy brother? Or why dost thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Yahweh Shai. And that's the case. We're all going to be judged, on that day. For it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me and every tongue shall confess to the Most High. So if you get on, let's say, for instance, if you get on a brother and he don't get himself together, well, guess what? He's going to have to answer to Yahweh Shai when Yahweh Shai comes back. But at least you did your job. You see? So then every one of us shall give account of himself to the Most High. Because at the end of the day, I can't vouch for you, you can't vouch for me. No matter how great a man is, and no matter how close you may be to that man cannot vouch for you. Every one of us has to vouch for himself. And at the end of the day, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, have to vouch for us. It says, let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. And see, this is why it's not good to do that. So this is why the example of the eating meat and the drinking of the wine and that, unto idols, we know that if we have the proper knowledge that if somebody offers us something like that, or we have, as long as it's lawful, as long as there ain't no abomination, you pray over it and eat it. But here it is, these plantation Christians will take scriptures like this and say, well, this is talking about you could eat pork. You got to do is just pray over it. I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahweh Shai that there is nothing unclean of itself. But to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. See, and they'll use this and all of a sudden they're unclean, see? No, this is talking about brothers in the faith. This is talking about, let's say if you have lamb that was offered to an idol, and you get it, that's why it says when you go, matter of fact, let's go straight to the point. I just want to go straight to the point. Where is that? Just bear with me 1 second. Let me just look at this way. 1 Corinthians 10:25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Because if you go to a butcher shop, that's what the shambles are. Makelon looks like a place where meat and other articles of food are sold. Meat market. So if you go there, don't go asking the question, well, was this lamb or a male or a female? Was this offered to an idol? No, because whenever we go in there, we don't know. Some of that meat could have been sacrificed to Satan for all we know. You know. But the thing is, the earth is the Lord, so we say a prayer over it, which as long as it's lawful meat, and it's good. Because what? For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So going back, this is what this is talking about. This ain't talking about no, well, there's pork, so I say a prayer over the pork and the pork is clean, or the shrimp, or not. No. Because that is unclean for a purpose and for a reason. The Most High created them that way because you have the garbage disposals of the earth. Just like you wouldn't go into a big garbage disposal, garbage dump, and just look around for scraps and start eating it, you know? I mean, people do that because they don't have any, but I'm saying that a person that has the means, you're not going to go into a big ass dump and see the stuff laying around and just start picking it up, start eating it, you know? Well, that's what those unclean animals are like. But if thy brother be grieved with thy meat, now walkest thou not charitably. See, because now if you do that, if you eating a so-called Thanksgiving dinner and the brother's grieved about that, you're not walking charitably. You're not walking in love. Destroy not him with thy meat for whom Yahweh Shai died. You see? So this is where discernment comes into play. Let not then your good be evil spoken of, because you know that you're not eating it because it's offered for Thanksgiving or whatever the case is. I keep saying so-called Thanksgiving because that's one of the main days that Jake get together. But if a brother doesn't understand that, then you have to refrain from that for his sake. For the kingdom of the Most High is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. Because at the end of the day, it's about the truth. It says, for he that in these things serveth Yahweh Shai is acceptable to the Most High and approved of men. Let us therefore follow after things which make for peace and things wherewith one may edify another. You see, building each other up. And this goes into actual meats, and it also goes into this knowledge, because the knowledge, remember, this knowledge is comparable to our food. Let's go real quick to Proverbs 9. Before we go there, let's go real quick to what is that? Jeremiah 3:15. It says, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And the word feed is to eat. Feed, ra'ith, ra'ai, to pasture, tend, graze, feed, you know? Of rule, teacher. Because a teacher feeds. And how does a teacher feed? The teacher grabs the food from the scriptures, through the Spirit, makes a nice savory plate with some nice savory either juice or yayan or whatever it is, and serves the plates out. And the brothers spiritually eat it. Okay, let's go to Proverbs 9:1. Wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars, because a pillar is a stronghold, a foundation. And 7 represents completion. So this knowledge is completely sound. It's completely grounded. And this is why Yahweh Shai it comes in the volume of the book. She hath killed her beasts. She hath mingled her wine. She hath also furnished her table. So everything is already furnished. All the prophets are doing is just grabbing stuff off the table and serving it out. She has sent forth her maidens, which are the prophets. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. And this is why it's so important to go out on them streets. That's the main part of the work. All the other the lessons that we do and all that, that's all a part of it. But the main part is what? The street ministry. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Because you have wine and strong drink out there that does not belong in this. The word masak, to mix, mingle, produced by mixing, to pour, mix, because this knowledge can confuse you if the Lord is not supping with you. Let's go, let me see. Let me get that one and then Psalms 69. All right, let's go here real quick. Isaiah 29 and 9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink, because the wine and the strong drink that they're staggering with is the drug of plantation Christianity and these different philosophies about the Bible that Esau put out there. You see, so they're drunk and they're not even drinking the proper or eating the proper diet of the scriptures. Why? Because it wasn't given to them. It says, "For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers and the seers hath he covered." And that's why they're not able to teach, because they're in order to really come into this thing, you have to be drawn, and the Lord has to work with your spirit, to be able to understand these scriptures. We can't make ourselves understand anything. The Lord has to open up our minds. That's why Yahweh said that there's a door, and the Lord opens a door, and no one can shut it, and He shuts, and no one can open it. Elder Apostle Gabar did a video a couple of days ago about you can't understand His truth unless through the Holy Spirit or something along those lines, and that's the truth. So Psalm 69 and 22, let their table become a snare before them. And the table represents what? This truth, this knowledge. Because this knowledge, no matter what, is is it's the same knowledge. Because everybody that's teaching whatever they're teaching it out of the Bible. You know? Galatians 1 and 6. I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Yahweh Shai unto another gospel. Check it out. Which is not another. Because it's not another. They're using the same book. But it's just that they don't have the proper breakdown. And they're bringing something else into the picture, because this gospel they're teaching, this table that they're getting stuff off of, is a table of vomit, a table of actual unclean foods, you know. But there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Yahweh Shai. But though we are an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. Let him just be accursed. Let him be the curse and be destroyed. So going back to Psalm 69 and 22, let their table become a snare before them. So the table represents the food of the scriptures. And the food of the scriptures is supposed to what? Nourish us and build us up. There's certain minerals and vitamins and stuff like that in these different foods, which is supposed to be anyway. Now we got to take supplements, and those minerals and vitamins and all that amino acids help keep this body strong. The mind, the heart, the different organs, so on and so forth, for energy. You see, but if you just eating junk food, what's gonna happen? At first, maybe nothing will happen, but after a while, the body's gonna break down. You see, and go into decay. Or the same thing with the truth. If you're eating junk food and you're not eating the proper meal, the bitters and all that, the sours, you're gonna be destroyed. You have to have a proper diet of balance. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. And this is why they can't get it. They have the same book, but they can't get it because it's sealed. Because the Lord pour out the spirit of deep sleep upon them. Let their eyes be darkened that they see not, and make their loins continue to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell there in their tents, for they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. And then you saw that when Yahweh was being crucified. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness. Because if they come into the Lord's righteousness, then the Lord will have to convert and heal them. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. See, because only the elect are going to be sealed to make it out of here. No one else. So going back to Romans 14 and 19, let us therefore follow after things. Did I read the other scripture I had? Yeah. Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace, and things wherewith one may edify another. And this is where the building up comes. And whoever's faith is small or weak, it gets uh, um, it grows by what? By this faith, by this truth. Romans 12 and 6, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. It's a gift, and everybody's been given a certain measure. The measure that each one of us has, we have to push with that measure. And the thing about this truth is it helps us grow. So we should be growing, you know. And this is why the scriptures say to put off that weak nature, and things like that, because the flesh is weak, but the spirit is strong. Remember what did Yahweh Shai say? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So that's why it's a constant struggle. So going back, Romans 14:20, for meat destroyed not the work of the Most High. See, so just to just because you have this knowledge to do these things, don't destroy the work of the Most High, a brother's weak conscience. All things indeed are pure, but it is evil for that man who eateth with offense. Because now, when we deal with this truth, if a man ain't striving lawfully, then he's eating with offense. Because what are we eating when we eat this truth? Whenever we eat this truth and we go out there and prophesy the gospel, we eating the Passover, which is Yahweh Shai. He is that lamb. It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth, or is offended, or is made weak. See? So when teaching this truth, there's a certain way that we have to walk. We can't just do whatever the hell we want to do. I mean, there's times we all fuck up, but I'm just saying in general, the general rule is to walk, in this thing, whether you're on camera or not. Bottom line. Has thou faith? Have it to thyself before the Most High. Because sometimes, you may have a brother out there that has great faith and he'll brag about it. But how do you think you got that great faith? You didn't get that great faith because you gave it to yourself. It was a gift that was given to you. So why are you going to brag about something that was given to you as a gift? So that's why I said, if you have great faith like that, have it to thyself before the Most High. Happy is he that condemneth not himself in the thing which he allowed, because there's going to be times where we're going to mess up. And he that doubteth is damned if he eat. So if a brother's involved in his truth and he really doubts the truth, he's damned. Because he eateth not of faith, but for whatsoever is not of faith is sin. So, that's pretty much Romans, the 14th chapter. It's going into brothers being weak in the faith, brothers being strong in the faith, brothers that are strong in the faith, being able to do certain things because they have the knowledge, but for the sake of the brother that is weak in the faith, he won't do it. Let me see. I believe that's Proverbs. I'm sorry, not Proverbs. 1 Corinthians 8. Let me see. Let me just check it in like this. First Corinthians 8:13. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend. See? So it's at the end of the day, it's all about, walking circumspectly, you know, because you're going to have brothers that are weak in the faith. You're going to have brothers that are strong in the faith. And it's the brothers' job that are strong in the faith to help those that are weak in the faith. But now, like I said, if a guy's full of shit, then then later for him. You don't have to deal with an individual like that because that guy, he's full of shit. But now, if you have a brother that has potential, he's sincere, you work with him. You know. So that's pretty much it. I pray that the lesson was edifying, and I pray that the brother who asked the question, that this was sufficient, to give him the edification of this chapter that he needed. So with that, I pray, that you brothers were edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.